Good evening, people of God. Welcome to episode 17 of Hymn of Our Fathers. On Hymn of Our Fathers weekly like this, we take a look at the life of hymn writers, stories, events, situations, and circumstances that surround some of our popular hymns, and then draw lessons and inspirations for our lives from it. This evening, by the grace of God, we'll be taking a look at this popular song, Now Thank We All Our God. Now Thank We All Our God was written by Martin Rinkart, who lived between 1586 and 1649. The tune name is called Non Danketh. Join me briefly tonight as we look at his life. Now thank we all our God. Upon hearing this common hymn that has been used at almost every naming ceremony, no one would have concluded that this hymn was written during the time of tragic experience. From some of the most severe hardship imaginable during the 30 years of civil war in 1618 and 1646 came this stately hymn. This hymn was often called the national tender of Germany because it was sung on many occasions of national rejoicing. It was originally written in German but was translated to several languages that we now have today. Martin Rinkart, who was born in Eilenburg, Germany, was a son of a poor coppersmith. He was, for a time, a boy chorister at the famous St. Thomas Church in Leipzig, Germany, where J.S. Bach was later the music director. Rinkart worked his way through the university, was ordained to the ministry of the Lutheran Church. At age 31, he was called to be a pastor in his native town in Eilenburg. He arrived there just when the dreadful bloodshed was starting. Because Eilenburg was a walled city, it became overcrowded with refugees for political and military fugitives from far and near. Throughout these years of war, several waves of deadly pestilence and famine swept the city, and as the various armies marched through the town, leaving death and destruction in their wake, the Rinkart home served as a refugee for the afflicted victims, even though it is said that Martin Rinkart often had difficulty in providing food and clothing for all his own family. The plague of 1637 was particularly severe. There was not enough food and the disease spread rapidly. When people began to die of the plague, the superintendent of the town ran away, and many pastors left too. His wife died after he conducted funerals of 4 pastors in one day. At its height, Rinkart remained the only minister, and he often conducting 40 to 50 funerals daily until he had conducted about 4,500 funerals. Finally, there was no grave space again to bury people. Services were no longer conducted again because about 8,000 people died in the plague. Yet, amazingly enough, he was a prolific writer of 7 different dramatic productions and on the events of the Reformation, as well as a total of 66 hymns. It was during those periods too that he wrote Now Thank We All Our God, which we will still take a look at the words thereafter. During the closing years of the war, Eilenburg was overrun by invading armies on 3 different occasions, once by the Australian army and twice by the Swedish army. During one of the occupations by the Swedish army, there came the demand that a large tribute payment be made by these already impoverished people. Rinkart interceded with the leaders of the army with such purpose, supported by the prayers of the people, that the tribute demand was finally reduced to a much smaller amount. It is said that when the Swedish commander would not at first consider Rinkart's request for lowering the levy, the pastor turned to his humble parishioners and said, "Come, my children, we can find no mercy with man, but let's take refuge with God." On his knee, Rinkart led his parishioner into prayer and in singing of a familiar hymn. The demonstration of spiritual political fervency so moved the Swedish commander that he reconsidered and finally lowered the demand of the tribute payments. The first stanza of this hymn is a general expression of gratitude for his countless gift of love. The second is a petition for God to continue his care and keeping with perhaps a personal experience of recant hardship when he asked God to guide him, perplexed, and free us from all ills. The last stanza is a grand doxology of praise to the Father, the eternal God. Now may I challenge you bravely tonight. In this period of hardship, pandemic, and situations that we find ourselves in both this country and even around the world, the situation of Martin Rickard when he wrote this hymn, Now Thank You, Our God, was very, very similar even to the situation that we find ourselves in this present world. The question is, will you still be able to say, we thank God, even despite what we have passed through this year? As the year is running to an end, let me remind you that no situation changes who our God is. It's we people that changes with time. And because God is God, He changes not. We still have to thank Him despite the situation we find ourselves. Let it be your song as this year is closing gradually. Now thank you, all our God. Join me tonight as we meditatively look at the lines of this song and join me to sing together. Now thank we all our God with our silence and voices who wondrous things hath done, in whom His word rejoices, who from our mother's hand hath blessed us on our way with countless gifts of love, and still is ours today. Oh, may this bounteous God through all our lives be near us with ever joyful hearts, and blessed peace to cheer us and keep us in His hand, and guide us when perplexed, and free us from all ills in this world and the next. Oh, praise and thanks to God, the Father now be given, the Son in Him who reigns, wisdom in our ears, first the one eternal God, whom hath never done, for those it was, is now, and shall be evermore. For thus it was, it is now, and shall be evermore. Thanks for watching this episode. Many thanks to those who have subscribed to our YouTube channel, and if you have not, do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Kingdom Purpose Ministry, and if you have the notification button, click on it so that you can get notified each time we release a new episode of our program. Thanks for watching, and God bless you.